everyone, so quickly gonna learn about creating a personal productivity agent today, which is again in continuation with the code labs for coffee shop personal assistant manager productivity agent. So let's see. I believe you are able to see my screen right now. Yes. So in this screen, this is the output and the URL which we want. Coffee manager agent 5803932. I mean, this is my project ID, the region, US West 1, run the tab. So this is the Cloud Run API which we have got. Inventory agent. So I'm asking the agent, the 2026 graduation schedule was just posted. The same schedule last year. Can you review the last year POS data to help me prepare for this year? So on the basis of an input spreadsheet which we have provided to the agent, I'm asking the agent to analyze that spreadsheet and give me the result for specific for my specific query. Like I'm asking him, find it for Saturday, June 13th for this particular college at 8:30 am. Find it for College of Science and Mathematics at 12:30 p.m. and find it for College of Liberal Arts at 4:30 p.m. That is the evening on Sunday, June 14th. So specifically, if you see, there are two dates mentioned over here, June 13th and June 14th, and the College of Agriculture 8:30 am to Agriculture, College of Engineering 4:30 p.m. Okay, so I'm giving him the specific inputs, find and analyze the result for this one. Okay. So inventory, so inside the inventory where we have provided the list, it says inventory agent tab. It is providing the answer. I've analyzed last year's POS data against 2026 graduation school. The data shows clear correlations between ceremony completion times and significant spikes in complex beverage orders, cold brew, extra espresso, and blah blah blah. So clear findings: Saturday morning, College of Business, they prefer at 10 am. We see a massive spike in cold brew and extra espresso. Then Saturday mid-afternoon, College of Science and Mathematics around 2 p.m. sustained increase in order volume. Then Saturday evening, College Liberal Arts normally. Okay, actionable results. And now it is asking us, based on these findings, diagnostic playbook, I recommend the following. Scheduled or support barista role for Saturday, June 13. And category staffing, College of Business, increase inventory per 50%. Would you like me to add these tasks to your to-do list in 2008? I said yes. Okay. So now it has added 2 more rows. Okay. Inside the spreadsheet which I have already created and provided the agent as a inventory or as our file. Okay, basically the data. So now this is what we have expected and we have created this using the Cloud Run. Okay, now let us see how to create it first. So this is called run a personal agent on Cloud Run services, coffee shop manager assistance. What we are going to do in production cloud sandbox, we are going to use that and we will learn how to create a Cloud Run service, how to deploy ADK agent using agent development kit and Cloud Run service, how to have an agent run Fluent sandbox, and how to create a chat UI user using WebSocket using the background agent. So first of all, you have to set your project. So if I come back here and I'll set my project, gcloud config set project, the project ID which is here. What is the project ID? Although it's already a coffee shop manager assistant, so I'll just write that. Okay, yes. Okay, updated property. Now I can set it inside a variable also. So I'll just say Google project ID is equal to project ID. So we can set it here inside the variable as well. Coffee shop manager assistant. Coffee shop manager assistant. Okay, I did that. Now if I want to check whether this is stored or not, so I'll say echo print my project ID. So where I've stored it, I've stored inside this variable. So I'm just gonna say here Google project ID, and now it has stored my project ID inside this variable and it is printing this out using the echo command. Similarly, I'm going to store the region. So I'll say region and I'm going to say, let's say here the region is US West 2. Okay, just for the sake of this lab. Okay, now I can again print this command, echo region. So it has printed and stored the value inside the region variable as usebase2. Now next is we have to set the project. We have already set. Now we can config set run region. So I can also do the second command. We have already. Now I'm trying to set it using the variable. Earlier I have given, this is one way of doing it, gcloud config set project and the project id. Now I'm trying to set it using the variable in which I have stored the value. So gcloud config set project id, which is stored in this variable, and gcloud config set run/region using the region variable. Okay, I'll run this command. It will say updated properties. Okay, yeah, so updated property for project and region. Next is we have to create a service account. Here are the environment variables that we will use throughout this code lab. You can save these in the environment file and source it. Make sure to correctly set the value of the project ID and optionally the region. So SA name is coffee shop agent SA, and service account address would be SA name, that is this, it is stored here, coffee shop agent @Google Cloud Project.im service account.gmail. So it is going to execute this. Again, I'm storing. If you want to see echo, you can do echo SA name. You can do that as well. Make sure if you want to print the variable, you have to use a $sign along with it, and then run the command. So now it has stored the SA name as coffee shop agent, and if I want to print the service account address, which I have stored inside this variable, so I can do that as well, and I'll say echo service account address. Okay, so now it has printed the service account address, which we have provided SA name inside the variable $SA @Google Cloud Project IM service G service, and just to make sure we are doing it correctly. Okay, in the production environment, since this is just a code lab, we are practicing it, but then in the production environment, these are the best practices we should follow next before committing or executing any of the next commands. Next is your enabling the project APIs. So for this project, like gcloud services, enable project Google Cloud Project, run APIs, access token type, and okay, I have already done this. Access token required, so I can do gcloud auth list. It's active. Okay, gcloud config set account. Okay, okay, wait, the cloud config list project, it's listing it out. Login. Let's quickly, it's been a while I have used this. I'm on this window, so let's quickly do that. RP, come back and authenticate and auth login credentials. Okay, so we are all set now. Use this, and now next is APIs. To enable the APIs, again I'm going to run this command. We should run properly because we have already set the project. We have already set run Google APIs, cloud build Google APIs, artifact registry, sheet Google APIs, platform API, and operation is successful. Okay, next we have to create a service account in spreadsheet. So for creating the service account, we have to create a dedicated service account for deploying the agent using the Cloud Run. So if you use the generic and the default service account, it is going to have all the accesses which we do not want for the Cloud Run services, just for deploying the agent. We only want to give the permission for the deployment and the IAM role for the specific use case, like principle of least privilege. We are going to follow that. So we'll create this dedicated service account over here in this, okay, in this session. So gcloud IAM service account, create $SA name, service account description is service account for the coffee shop agent code lab, display name is coffee shop agent SA. Okay, I mean this already exists for me, so right, I've already created this agent. Resource in the project is the project conflict service account already exists. Okay, I have already created this earlier. I have executed this command earlier. Now gcloud projects, I am going to add and bind my project with the project ID. So I'm trying to bind it with the project ID. Like gcloud project, add IAM policy binding Google Cloud project, member service account address, roles AI platform, updated AI policy, service account, role is AI platform user, artifact registry service agent, cloud builders, cloud build service agent, container registry service agent, roles editor, roles owner, pub/sub service agent, run service agent. Okay, so these are all allotted and granted. Next is to let you run and test the agent locally using the service account. Grant your personal Google Cloud identity permission to impersonate the service. So your agent should be able to impersonate your service account to once the deployment has been done. So how can we do that? So we have to assign them a specific IAM policy. Again, gcloud, we will run this and execute this command, gcloud IAM service accounts, add IAM policy binding coffee shop agent SA @Google, your service account address, member is user, gcloud config get value, so I'm fetching the value, okay, user, whatever role user has, get value from the account, and then role, again, roles IAM service account token creator. Your active configuration is done. Updated IAM policy for service account, this members and roles assigned, hierarchical permissions. Next is to create the spreadsheet. So we'll just open the spreadsheet here, copy and paste it, go to data, split to text, and then you have to provide the access, grant the access to your service account. So if you remember, we have already echoed and printed the email ID for the service account, so we'll just assign that email ID and assign the role of our editor here. Okay, so once this is done, just go back to the coffee shop agent. If you want the service account email, you can just do SA name, or you can just do service account ID. So here we have service account address. Okay, echo service account address. So it has printed me. You can copy this and add it there. Make sense, right? Next, spreadsheet ID. So spreadsheet ID is nothing but the ID in which you have opened the spreadsheet inside your workspace, Google workspace. So basically this is the ID which we have. So we are going to store this value inside a variable again. So here I can open a new one if you want. So let me open a new one for this specific. I can create file, new spreadsheet. Okay, so let me do that quickly so that we should be able to do that. Okay, I've pasted the data and go back to data. I want this data to be split into columns. I'll say text to columns. This is done in few seconds, and I'll say this is demo personal productivity agent. Okay, this is done. Now we have to assign it the permission. So I'll just copy the service account email address, come back to the spreadsheet, and I'll say share. I want to share it with the service account, I've given the service account, don't want to notify. You can change it. Here we are going to give the editor role because we have, if you remember in the output, we have added 2 rows, right? If we want to add few details inside the spreadsheet, we can do that. That can only be done if it has read and write access with the editor permission, not with the viewer or the commenter permission. Okay, so share. Once this is done, then next is coming back to the here we have done this. Now I'm going to add the spreadsheet ID. So this is the spreadsheet ID. My new spreadsheet ID here is this. I'm just going to copy this ID from here till here. Okay, and go back to the terminal. I'll say spreadsheet underscore ID is equivalent to, I'm going to store this without a slash and a space. Okay, store this value inside this variable. Okay, okay, there should not be any space. I've given a space here. Okay, now I can print the same using the echo. The variable will come with a $sign. Spreadsheet ID done. So it has printed the same. Now next is create ADK agent. So we have to create the agent. I have already created the agent. So here I'll just paste this. So it says file already exists. So for me, if I open the editor, my file is already there, coffee manager agent. Okay, so now once this is done, we have to create a requirement file. So I'll show you how to create the requirement file, although this is already there. Okay, this is already there. I'll go back to terminal and I say nano requirements dot text. Okay, so it has opened it here. Now here what will I do? I'll paste this content. So it has already pasted the previous one. I think we don't have this one. Yeah, we don't have Google ADK 1.27.1 Google Auth and Google API client. We don't have 2.2 Google ADK, so we can remove the first above 2 lines. So with the nano editor, you have to be a little careful. You have to go to the position of the cursor and then work on it. In the Sublime text also we do the same, right? So any of the editor choice we have. So once this is done, write out to O to X. Okay. Save mode, yes. Press Y, enter. Okay, so your requirements file is saved. You can go back and check the requirements here. Here is the requirements. Okay, the same file. Similarly, we have to create a Docker file. You can do it in the same manner. Although my Docker file is already created, again I'll do the same. It will just gonna update the same. So I'll do what? I'll say nano. Name of the file is Docker file, and I'll paste the contents. Place control. Okay, Docker file is already created here, so you can see the content of the Docker file. It's there. Make sense? Now coming back to the terminal. Once this is done, okay, now it's time to create the main file. So what are we doing in the main file? That is the major part of creating this. Again, you can do what? Nano main.py. If you are ready with your code, you can just copy and paste. Like here we have it ready inside the code lab, but otherwise when we do not have it ready, we have to write our code. Write to main.file, x, enter. Okay, so if you go to main.py now, you can see main.py is updated with the active code. So what is happening inside this code? Import OS, we are importing the libraries, import async, again the libraries, subprocess, path library, path typing, import list, fast API, library, HTTP exception, WebSocket, disconnect, fast API responses for HTML response. Now this is a Python Dentic import base model. So again, all the set of libraries for operating system and your WebSockets. Then libraries for your ADK agent or for your agent development kit. We are importing what? Coming back here, we are importing what? Let's go to the top for the agent libraries now. From Google ADK agent, import LLM agent as agent from Google ADK. From google.adk.tools, import function tool. From google.adk.apps, import app. From google.adk, import runner. ADK sessions, import in-memory session services. From google.gni, import types. Okay, now inside the sandbox, you're getting a path for the sandbox, like this sandbox. Okay, is local mode, no path, sandbox CLI exist. Active connection list, WebSocket, spreadsheet ID. Again, we have stored it inside the environment variable like spreadsheet ID. Right, you remember this ID we have already stored. Now coming back here, definition, we are creating a function here. Function definition says run sandbox process, argument list, command argument subprocess if local mode, arguments sandbox CLI if no, then return the subprocess, run command, capture output, execute sandbox command, execute arbitrary POSIX shell command, bash inside local mode. So this is all the ADK script which we have, the agent development kit. Okay, it says run sandbox. If it returns no code, if it returns no code, the return code is not equal to 0, then execution failed. Okay, and return star not exception, error as internal sandbox tool error. Now next is get service, get sheet service, another function where it will read the sheet and derive the output from the sheet. Okay, so initialize and return the Google Sheets client service. From google.auth, import default. From Google API client.discovery, import build. I'm fetching the credentials default from the environment variables, like from googleapis.com auth spreadsheets, Google APIs auth cloud platform, return build sheets, because we have already provided it a editor role if you remember. Right, now next function is def read spreadsheet value. So I want that my agent should be able to read the spreadsheet value as well. So how it will read? Using this function spreadsheet ID, which we have already provided and stored it inside the environment variable as spreadsheet ID. So defining its data type as string, range name as str. Read the range of cells from Google spreadsheet, try service, get sheet service result, service spreadsheet values, get spreadsheet ID, range, rows result dot get value, return string rows if rows, else no data found in the specified range except exception. Definition, update spreadsheet values, spreadsheet ID, range name values, update the range, try service, get sheet service result, service spreadsheet values, update spreadsheet ID, range, body user, return successfully updated, exception, create spreadsheet, spreadsheet ID, tab name. For sheets and spreadsheets, if sheet.get properties, get title is tab name, return sheet tab already exists, body request, add service, return successfully. Now comes the major part, which is your agent coding or the root agent. So we have to define a function for the root agent. Name is secure coding assistant, description is ADK agent capable of executing a shell command and managing Google spreadsheets. Model OS environment, get Gemini model. Define the version of the model, Gemini 3.1 flashlight model we are going to use here. And then the instruction, like you are an expert AI business analyst for a coffee shop during the university graduation, whatever task you wanted to perform, you can write it here. Like we are asking him the Google spreadsheet ID, you are managing its spreadsheet ID, you're managing. Okay, you are an agent and you are managing this particular spreadsheet with the spreadsheet ID. So it will trace the spreadsheet ID which we have stored in the environment variable and go back and read that spreadsheet ID. Ingest historical POS data from POS 2025 sheet tab. So we have given the name of the POS 25 sheet, if you see. Okay, next is receive current graduation. Directly write Python script using the tool. Correlate 2025 products, cold brew, map those beverages profile, paste the schedule, which is the same sequence. Identify expected wait time, bottlenecks, and then cashier working if not. So we have given a lot of instructions to the agent how it is going to work and return a response. Okay, everything in the to-do task. So post approval policy, we ask them to perform the to-do task list as well. And to the tools which we are using, one of them is a function tool. Function executes sandbox command and all this. ADK app, runner app, fast API, WebSocket, and hidden try. If WebSocket receive the text, print owner replied, owner reply, await message. If it doesn't receive the message, user ID is local, user session ID is the local session. So this is the temporary session ID variable which is going to store for that particular session details. Okay, then the HTML response, and this all is a basic HTML script for your application stream, like a Streamlit application or your front end. Okay, how it's going to perform and what all fonts we have used. Now this is the main function where we are giving the port in the environment variable to get the port number from 8080 from the environment. Get port 8080. This is the default port which we usually have. So in case of critical applications and production applications, if you want to customize it, like you can do that as well. For now, for this application we have this only. Okay, last but not the least, we are left with deploying the cloud. So let's quickly run this, go back to the terminal, and let's try to deploy this in the US-based 2 now. Okay, the deployment gets successful. Gcloud beta run. So gcloud beta run is the command that is, this is not a production application. Do you want to continue? I will say yes. Coffee manager agent, sandbox source region is going to fetch the region variable, fetch the region from the region variable, that is US-based 2 this time. Sandbox launcher, it is going to read the source file from the source. Max instances I'm going to deploy as 1 for the compute efficiency, and then the session affinity, it is going to store all the session details and for this particular deployment. Now allow the unauthenticated, so that is it a publicly accessible URL? Yes, it is. We want anyone to access it, that's why we have given this option, allow unauthenticated. No CPU throttling, we do not want any latency, or we do not want any gaps there in the output. So no CPU throttling, and we do not want any lags, that's why. Next is label dev tutorial. We have given the label name to identify, okay, which code lab is it. Code lab cloud run personal agent coffee shop. Then setting the environment variables as usual, set environment varies. Google Gemini use Vertex AI equals to 1. So I'm going to leverage the power of Vertex AI over here, and I'm setting it as true. Then I'm setting the project ID, which is Google project, using the environment variable again, Google Cloud project, where my project ID is stored. And then the location, we are setting it as global for default for this particular application deployment. And then the spreadsheet ID, again we have stored it inside the environment variable as $spreadsheet ID, and then space and slash service account. Again it is going to fetch the service account details and the email address from the environment variable, which we have set as $service account address. Now do you want to deploy? We have to wait for a couple of seconds so that it can be deployed, and we can see the output here. Like we have our earlier output in US West 1, right? Now we have deployed it in US West 2, so let's wait for the same to happen. So here, building using Dockerfile, deploying container to Cloud Run Services, Coffee Manager agent in project, region is US West 2, and now it is deploying, validating configuration, creating container repository, uploading sources. And once this is done, it will look something like this. Okay, and we have to ask the question like somewhere here. Yeah, so after your deployment you will see something like this, like we have it here, right? We have it here in our previous one. Coffee Manager Agent, project ID, US West 1, your region and run app. Okay, your project ID, your region and run app. Open this URL in your browser, send the following prompt to your agent. We will send this prompt to test it whether this is working or not. Like I tested it earlier for US West 1. Let's see it for US West 2 if this gets deployed successfully. So based on this, we will see if it is gonna work, and we will ask them to form a to-do list. Okay, after all this, and it will add 2 rows to my existing spreadsheet. And once this is done, so we will be able to complete the code lab. We learned about how to create a Cloud Run service, how to deploy ADK agent and Cloud Run service, how to have an agent run code in Sandbox with Cloud Run service. Last but not the least, we will make sure to clean up the resources, Cloud Run services, delete Coffee Manager agent, region, Cloud IAM service. Okay, this is done. Delete service account address. So these are the 2 things we should do. If this is done, it's still uploading the resources. So let's check out the profile. Yeah, it's added here. Personal agent on manager assistance, and this is all. Okay, go back and check it here whether this is done. It's still taking some time, so let's wait for a couple of minutes to get it done. Once this is done, we will see how long will it take. Okay, that's all for now. So we will get something like this: Coffee Manager agent, project ID, and so I'm just waiting for this, something like this. Okay, project ID. That's about it. All have a nice day. See you later. Bye bye. Thank you.